Hello everybody and welcome back to Waterworks Park. We are on hole 10, a pretty elevated uphill shot sloping off and to the right. We are doing the winner take all with David Potts, Peter Bures, Brendan Melton, Jose Ossa. They are playing for $200. And so far David Potts after the front nine is up by 2 strokes. Still a lot of golf left though on this back nine. This back nine can definitely be challenging. Jose Ossa releasing that a little bit early. Brandon Melton with the sidearm, sawing that off a little bit early. It's going to fade down the hill to the right, but he does have a putt. Point and shoot David Potts, just a little bit high. Gorgeous run by Jose, giving it a run, going about chain high down that right side. Well, Mr. Peter Bures is going to lay up. Oh, he actually ran that even closer than I realized he did. It's one of the nice things about having that double view camera. I'm pretty new to it. I've been working with it, but it's neat to see it from the other side. And Mr. Melton going off that left side chains high. David and Peter in for the pars. And Jose center but high. Jose is going to take the bogey. Brandon's going to take the par. 1 birdie, 3 pars, even -2, even, +2, and 3. Hole 11, we are in the C position. 285 feet. There is a road behind it, and to the right of it, you kind of are throwing over a valley. You are throwing uphill, so even though at 285, you're probably playing more on 320. And Peter is showing, what 320. I'm just going to stick that right up underneath the basket. That is a thing of beauty. Gorgeous sidearm right underneath the basket, flared up to the road, but he is in bounds, Mr. Melton. David throwing straight at it, but it's not going to have quite enough distance, and it's going to fade down that hill. It's going to leave him a big uphill putt. Jose playing the right wide angle, passes that tree. And Park City. And a huge 2 for David. Bam! Getting that right side, but sticking. See how close Brandon was to that road. But that's not going to stop him from getting the 2. Another 2. And we've got a full card of birdies on hole 11. Super awesome. -3, -1, +1, +2 as we go into hole 12 in the C position. 352. You are going through a double mando with a big right to left fade. You've sit up on top of kind of a peninsula cove or a hilltop. It is downwards behind it and in front of it, so you need to land perfectly to prevent yourself from getting that Waterworks roll. Peter with the huge hyzer and skips right past the basket and catches the tree for the save. That was a huge shot and a thing of beauty as well. Brandon's going for the same big hyzer but clips the tree right by the Mando, pushing it towards the big tree in front and just drops it into the middle of the fairway. David also trying to find Peter, trying to keep Peter off of his tail. Doing the same big hyzer, throwing it a little bit tighter. Still within, well, putting, but at the inside portion of the hill. So he's going to have an uphill putt, maybe a little bit of tree obstruction. Jose holds on to that, throwing it a little bit high. It's going to catch that tree. He's going to drop down safely. You can see all these rolling hills and why it can be difficult, but it's also what makes this course very popular. And Brandon trying to run it from downtown just behind the basket. Jose throwing that a little bit wide and flat. It's going to give him a challenging putt. Brandon going for it and hitting the top of the basket. Jose with a beautiful par save. And look at where Peter landed, right behind that tree. You can see if he hadn't hit that tree, he could have easily gone downhill. And Peter having to straddle, pulling that off to the right a little bit. He's definitely not happy with that. He wanted that, knowing he was only 2 strokes behind David, but he's still going to finish out with the par along with David. Brandon with the bogey, -3, -1, +2s, and +2. Hole 13, this is a temporary pad. These distances are not relevant. We're playing from on top of the hill. You can play to the right of the tree, which is where this angle's at, or you can play a big ante around the big tree you just saw in the video before. But it is a pretty steep incline from the bottom of that hill. Measures at 595. This is our second par 4. Peter with the big anhyzer. Going on the inside of those trees, unscathed, coming in perfectly. Again, that is just a thing of beauty, and you could not ask for a much better drive than that. David with the roller. Man, these guys are good. Big ante for Jose. Trying to follow the Peter Bures line. Just doesn't flex out, but he is well up that hill. Beautiful sidearm by Brandon. He's going to catch that tree right there, though, and drop. David's always throwing some kind of crazy shot, and you can see him throwing the overhand, but puts it right next to the basket. Look at that incline. Oh, Brandon with a great sidearm, a little bit of a wobble, and there's that infamous Waterworks roll that we've been talking about. Even with a great shot, sometimes it can get you. Great drive by Peter, giving it a run. A little bit up right high. It's going to go up the hill. While Mr. Jose Ossa is going to tap in, get the birdie. Another birdie. A par. And Peter with the birdie. Peter staying within 2 strokes of David. -4, -2, +2, +1. 5 holes to go. Hole 14. Long C position, 454 feet. There is a road directly behind that basket by just probably 20 feet. So it can definitely be dangerous if you overthrow this shot. Peter with a great shot, a little bit high. It's going to fade out a little bit early, but he should not have a problem to be able to get that up towards the basket. It could be a dangerous putt for him, and we'll see what he does. David releasing that a little bit late, but puts a lot of hyzer angle on it. Still going to land to the left side of the fairway. That's going to leave him a long, dangerous putt as well. Jose did not like that. Released a flat, overstable disc, a little bit high, enough height that it's going to give him all that room to the left to fade out. And again, with those slopes of the hills going down that left side, even that extra little mistake just adds more feet of carry, making it a little bit more difficult for that upshot. Brandon with the huge flex sidearm. Needs to slow down. And he does go out of bounds. Look at this shot. Clears that 454 feet down, slight downhill, but huge sidearm. Jose trying to give it that run. Trying to get himself back down to even. David going for that huge floating putt. While Peters throws it upside down with that scuba shot. The shot that he claims Brody Smith stole from him. It's his shot. And Brandon with the huge OB par save. Looks like we're going to have a round of pars as we finish out hole 14. Leaving everybody at -4, -2, +2, +1. Peter's still 2 strokes back with 4 holes to go as we go into hole 15, a 270-foot shot. We are in the, I don't know what position this is in, but there it is. You can see it straight ahead. It is the 270-foot position. Peter throwing right at it, just to the right. Like I said, a little bit of fade there, but beautiful shot right up underneath the basket. David with the roller. Making my cameraman work. Went right at him. Looks like it curled up. Went back. It's not going to be an easy putt for David while Peter's parked. Again, they're only 2 strokes apart for that $200 in cash. Jose with that beautiful flat putter and hitting the log behind it to push it right back towards the basket. Gorgeous pumpkin rock. Never realized how much Brandon was a sidearm thrower until I started filming him for this round. He's definitely good at it. He's got a good line, and as you can see there, he's putting. And David, that's not his traditional putt. He knows he let that low. He also knows he's going to give up a stroke to Peter. So Brandon with the 2. David tapping out, getting his 3. Peter closing it in by 1 stroke. We got a game here, folks. 3 holes to go. Only 1 stroke apart as Jose also taps in. Works his way back to even. So -4, -3 plus 1 and even here on hole 16. We are playing the short 281-foot A position for this. There is a road all the way to the right and right behind it. It can definitely become dangerous if you turn this over, or if you leave yourself left and you have that big putt or a big road behind it on your big putt. The goal is to put it as close as possible so you don't have to deal with any of that. And Peter is doing that. He's definitely put himself in a great position to try to get that birdie putt. And he's trying to catch David, who's got him by 1 currently. Look at this shot by Jose. Low beeline. It's going to slide right up underneath it, hitting a few roots to slow it down. Brandon knows he's throwing that a little bit high. It's going to put him up on that hillside a little bit for a long putt. Like I said, he's got that death road right behind it, making it for a very scary putt. Peter's in putting distance. David knows he needs to try to keep his stroke lead. Stay away from the tree, and David puts it right up underneath the basket. David is not scared. He is calling Peter out with that putt. Said, keep pushing me, bud. Underneath Park City. And Brandon, who's not afraid of that downhill putt with the huge birdie. Oh, now Peter, low face mask, giving one back to David, who's working so hard to stay ahead of him. Jose putting himself to under for the round. David taking the drop in birdie and giving me a fist pump. -5, -3, even, and -1. Jose gets himself back to under. David extends his lead to 2. Hole 17 on the Arrowhead hole. Placement B. Straight ahead, sloping hills to the right. OB really shouldn't be a factor, but there is OB along to the right if you were to pull it long or to the right. 300 feet. Jose throwing a straight line. It's going to fade off left, and you can see that hill going up to the left. It's a good protector, but at the same time, being at Waterworks, you can easily get it to stand up and roll. Brandon's going to burn that into the ground a little bit lower than he probably wants. David throwing that wide. And Peter's getting a little frustrated, I think. A little high, held on to that a little bit. $200 is nothing to laugh at for these guys. They didn't pay an entry fee. It's $200 bonus to walk away just to play this one round. So that is more money than you will get at a lot of tournaments. Oh, Brandon continues his little unlucky streak with the roll. Hits the rocks from the Arrowhead and rolls him down. Again, a little bit of waterwork action going on. Jose is just tapping up. David taking his par. Good save, Mr. Melton. All right, everybody, we are going into the 18th hole. David's up by 2, a -5, and then a -3, an even, and a -1. Hole 18's in the D position, 311 feet, OB along the left. This does play down a valley all the way to the basket with a steep incline straight at the base. If a hole can be waterworked, this is it. Not only does it require a great drive off the tee to give yourself some good footing, but it requires a good landing as well. This is also a pretty extreme turn. So if you even just throwing something flat will put you up on the hillside along the right, you really need something to come out of your hand almost angled immediately to fade out, something overstable. And as you see there, Jose is throwing something but just stays straight. It's going to land up towards the top of the hill. Brandon throwing the sidearm. Some of my best shots I've seen is with that shot on the sidearm, just flexing something right down that valley. Peter's trying to throw it tight. Like I said, coming out of your hand, he needs to have that angle, but just a little too tight, and catches that tree and drops him right next to that short pin position. But it doesn't phase him. He's going to take the right angle, just put it right up underneath the basket. Brandon trying to give it that last chance run. Jose giving it a chance and just runs right past the left side. Great run. David finishing with the -5. Great putt, Jose. Going to finish at -1. Peter's going to finish at -3, and Brandon's going to finish us out at even. David Potts is our big winner. $200, -5. Thank you for watching this edition of the Winner Takes All at Waterworks Park, Kansas City, Missouri. I want to thank my cameraman, David Fuentes, and Brandon Logan. Thank David, Peter, Brandon, and Jose for coming out and being a part of all this. As always, like, share, subscribe, and we hope to see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.